Hey y'all, I'm Mike.
And I'm PK. You already know.
So the next two videos are going to be really personal videos. We're telling you guys our coming out stories. So we wanted to, in honor of Pride Month and in honor of everybody celebrating themselves across the globe, we wanted to take some time and tell you guys a little bit about our lives and give you a more in-depth understanding of where we've come and how we've gotten to where we are.
I know these videos are long overdue. The reason I wasn't going to share mine at first is because I had a really, really great experience. And I felt in some way it could be viewed as pretentious if I was saying like, oh, you should come out because this is what happened to me, because I understand that not everyone's coming out story is going to be butterflies and rainbows.
Right, yeah.
But I also think that sharing your story is important because, as we said in another video, it can inspire someone else to share theirs. So I decided that in honor of Pride Month, like Mike said, I really want to just sit down and give you a full glimpse into my coming out story.
And we start from the beginning. Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Patrick.
And that young boy, no, we're not going to say it like that. Honestly, I would say that this dates back to me being in 6th grade. I felt at that time I understood the word gay and what it meant, and I understood what it was. And for the longest time, I really wasn't okay with it. In junior high, I got made fun of and I got picked on, not for being gay, but for being a nerd. And I felt, well, oh great, if they find out that I'm gay too, then there's going to be no saving this. And there was a really dark time in my life where I just wasn't sure what to do. So I started applying other labels to me, if that makes sense, because I didn't want the term gay to be associated with me. When I got to high school, I continued playing soccer, I did gymnastics, I played tennis, I did all these other sports and all these other things that weren't necessarily considered to be gay. And I was attaching all these different labels. I was lucky enough to be captain of the soccer team, I graduated valedictorian, I was student body president, and I don't say that to be like, hey, look at me. I say that because I was so uncomfortable with who I was that I felt the need to just attach all these different labels and pull them out of thin air and work my ass off because I was so scared of being defined as gay. Looking back, it almost sounds ridiculous because I'm so proud to be gay and I'm so comfortable with saying that I'm gay and owning that. But when you're in high school and you're told from a society that that's abnormal and that you're different and that that's not okay to be who you are, you want any other label than being called gay. And in high school, my junior year, I ended up telling my best friend to this day, Alyssa Grekowski, and she came over, I'll never forget, she came over one day after school and I was just sitting at my kitchen table and I was like starting to cry and she was like, what's wrong with you? Like making fun of me, but she's like, are you okay? And then she got super serious because I started bawling and like almost hyperventilating, and this was the first time saying that word out loud and admitting it to not only her but to myself. So it was a big step. After pulling and crying, I was like, Alyssa, like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm gay. And she laughed at me and she said, that's it? She said, I thought like someone passed away or something bad happened or that you got arrested and you wanted me to tell your dad for you or something. And I was like, no, and I'm like starting to laugh through the tears. She'll never understand what that moment meant to me because that's the scariest thing in the world. I mean, first time because you're only telling that one person and you don't know how they're going to react. You don't know if they're going to tell someone. You don't know if they're going to support you. You don't know if they're going to ditch you. It's like the most
vulnerable moment in your life.
The most vulnerable. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. I truly feel that to this day, that's why she will forever be one of my best friends, because we have that bond. I mean, I trusted her over any other person in the world to tell my deepest, darkest secret to, and it was just the best moment of my life. Unfortunately, even though her response was so positive, it wasn't enough for me to fully accept it to myself and to go around and tell other people. So junior, senior year of high school, I still stayed in the closet. There were rumors that I created that Alyssa and I were hooking up as best friends because I didn't want people, because I didn't have a girlfriend. So Alyssa was like
she's hot, so like, I'll give that to him.
So Alyssa was like my pseudo girlfriend. So then I graduated high school. And I was very lucky. I got accepted into a scholarship program, and I actually moved to Ireland for 2 months through the Irish life experience, and I studied and lived in Ireland before I went to college. And in Ireland, I met an amazing, kind soul named Piper. Ended up telling her as we were walking outside in the pouring rain in Ireland, I can still remember that too. She was telling me about how her mother had passed away, and we were sharing stories and really just connecting, and I felt that this was someone who needed to know, and it was almost another stepping stone for me. Because if it sounds terrible, because if she was against it, well, she was in Ireland and I was going back to the States. But no, it was just a safe place, and I felt safe talking to her, and she was amazing. So I told her, and she said, "You are the sweetest, kindest soul that I have ever met. And if people let you being gay stop them from seeing that, they don't deserve to be a part of your life." And that was a really emotional moment, because I realized that she was right. If I was going to tell someone that I was gay and they forgot everything they knew about PK and only focused on the fact that I was now gay, then they didn't deserve to be in my life. So then I left Ireland and I came back to the States, empowered more than ever to finally come out of the closet. So what did I do? I called up my best friend Alyssa. We grabbed our rollerblades because we were super cool. And I called my sister and I was like, "Hey, want to come rollerblading with Alyssa and I?" Because that was like our thing. We always did that. And she's like, yeah. So she came with, and we were rollerblading through the park. The whole time I was looking at Alyssa, and it just wasn't the right time, wasn't the right time, wasn't the right time. And then finally we were putting our rollerblades into the trunk, and I was like, "Aaron, like, I have to tell you something." And keep in mind, like, you guys watch my videos, you know how close I am with my family and my sister especially, and I looked at her and I was like, "I'm gay." And she just starts, like, she's confused, but starts crying. And I was like, my heart's beating faster, like, than it ever has. And I said, "Aaron, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" And she just goes, "I'm just so scared that you're going to have to deal with people that aren't going to accept you, and that's not fair." And she's right. It's not. So we have a huge love fest, and Alyssa's crying, and I'm crying, and Aaron's crying. We're just like, ah! We have our rollerblades in the trunk, and then we go get Steak and Shake happy hour shakes, because those are delicious. It's a Midwest thing, you wouldn't know, unless you're from the Midwest. So then after I told my sister, I knew that I had to tell my brother. So I went down into the basement that night, and it was just me and Sean. We were watching Netflix shows or whatever for hours on hours, and then I looked at him again, and I was like, "Hey, I need to tell you something." And we paused The Office, because that's what we're watching, because it's hilarious. And I tell him, "Sean, I'm gay." He just said, "I love you no matter what, and that's not going to change anything. Who else have you told?" So I told him the beginning half of the story, and then we both knew that I had to tell my parents. So after I told my brother, I had a couple weeks left until I was going to London. I was studying abroad my first semester of college. It was a weird, unique program that I was lucky enough to be accepted to. So I had a month left until I was leaving for London, and I waited until 2 weeks before to tell my parents. So it's me, my brother, and my sister, and we go up into my sister's room because my mom and dad were already up there talking. And they're talking to my sister, and my brother and I are sitting against the wall, and we're talking about something, and I was like, "Hey, like, Mom and Dad, like, I need to tell you something." And I start crying, and everyone's kind of uncomfortable because Aaron and Sean know what's going on, but Mom and Dad don't. So I end up telling them, I was like, "Hey, like, I'm gay." And my mom says, "Well, like, how do you know?" And I pulled this card, not trying to be rude, but I said, "Well, how do you know you're straight?" And a split second later, like, she is off the couch with her arms around me, just hugging me, telling me how much she loves me. And my dad said the exact same thing. He said, "I will always be supportive of you, no matter what." And he hugs me, and, like, we end up talking about everything, and I just was so nervous. But at that moment, I knew that those that truly love and care about you understand that being gay doesn't define you. It doesn't. It's just a part of who you are. And my family helped me realize that. So after I told my family, I went away to London, and I was completely open. I made some great friends, but I wasn't open at home. I came back for Christmas break, and I told Grandma Pat. I called her up into my room when there was a little get-together, and I told her right away, and she was so supportive. And this is someone that's an entirely different generation. And I mean, she probably knew because I'd been her like shopping buddy since I was like 4 years old. But I only started actual college, and I went to the University of Tampa. And I came out there, ended up meeting my first boyfriend, who I actually owe a lot to. I learned a lot from him. From there, people just kind of found out through however which way. So, as you can tell, my coming out experience was absolutely incredible, and I was super lucky, and everyone was extremely supportive. I really encourage you all to give people the benefit of the doubt, because one of my biggest regrets that I do have of my coming out story was my grandma Laura. I felt that she wasn't going to be okay with it, and that she wasn't going to be supportive of me being gay. And I kept pushing it off, and this was the last person in my life that not only needed to know, but like deserved to know. And after she was diagnosed with cancer, I was like, I really want to tell her, but I'm too scared of her response. And she ended up passing away shortly after. And one of my biggest regrets is that I never opened up, and I never gave her the benefit of the doubt, and I never trusted her. I never gave her that chance to be as supportive as everyone else that I told. And I get really emotional about it, because I really do think that everything would have been fine and she would have loved me no matter what. But I let my sense of pride taint the person that I knew she was, the most loving and caring person that I've ever met. And family vacations, we have like incredible memories together. And I just wish that I told her. And I just wish that she knew before she passed away. And I really do think about it a lot, of what would have happened, because a good 2-3 years went by before I was out to pretty much everyone but her. And part of me thinks that she might have even have known, but I never told her. And that just eats me up inside. So I encourage all of you, if you're watching this and you're in that closet, I hope this story sheds a little light enough to help you see that doorknob and take that step and open it. And I hope that you have a supportive family and group of friends that are going to see right through this label that society has created and see who you are, and not let that change anything. That's my story. I know, he was just sitting here. I'm like sweating. I got pissed.
We all have our journey.
That was mine.
But I love you.
I love you more. And take a step, because you're going to meet someone like this one day that's perfect for you. And they're going to have your back, no matter what. No matter who doesn't, someone out there will. We will. We love you guys.
And remember to smile.
Because it's worth it.
Okay.
I love you.